Okay, so as I have said in the group, Telegram group, today is our last Monday together. So today will be my last Monday teaching 6 April rules. Okay, so everyone, we are still on topic 15. But before we start, let me show you your progress in class 2. Hold on, let me share the screen. Okay. So you can see here, I have given you points for last week's work. So remember when I said the person with the highest score will get a special treat from me. So congratulations. I think Auni is leading. Auni has the highest point so far. So make sure if you have any forgotten homework to send in, just send in to me so that I can give you a point in my class dojo. All right. So for today, before we start, I want to let's play a small game first to start us off called which happened first. Okay, the game is called which happened first. So basically, the way to play this game is there will be a sentence given and you have to decide which of the sentence happened first. Okay. All right. So for the first one, I'll start us off. I click on my favorite number 6. Okay. So number 6, the sentence given is the Magnetal Tower fell down or we built a super tall Magnetal Tower. So from this sentence, you have to choose what happened first. Did the Magnetal Tower fell down first or did we build a super tall Magnetal Tower first? So for my answer, I think the first what happened first is we built a super tall magnetar tower before the magnetar tower fell down. So my answer is the second part. We built a super tall magnetar tower. So I got that one correct. Okay. So that is how you will play this game. So for the first part, can I have Azim? Azim, can you pick a number, Azim?
On 1.
1. Oh, number 1. Okay, let's pick on number 1. Okay, Azim, can you read the sentence?
It started raining outside or the sky got very cloudy.
It started raining outside. Very good, Azim. Okay, so now you have to decide which happened first, Azim. Did it started raining first or did the sky got very cloudy first? Which happened first, Azim? Others, if you know the answer, you can also write in the comment section. What do you think happened first, Azim? Did it started raining outside first or did the sky got very cloudy first? It's okay if you get it wrong, Azim. You can try. What do you think happened first? Started raining first, or did the sky got cloudy first? Others? Does anybody want to help Azim? You can write in the comment section if you know the answer. Oh, Azim. Okay, Azim, open your mic. I want to hear your voice, Azim.
Uh, the, the sky got very cloudy.
Okay, let's check the answer. The sky got very cloudy. Very good, Azim. So you got the first question correct. Okay. Very good, Azim. Okay, next. We'll ask Laila. Laila, can you pick a number, Laila? Number 4. Okay, I'll click on number 4 for Laila. Okay, Laila, can you read the sentence, Laila?
I colored my picture using all of the color crayons or my picture look beautiful.
Okay, very good, Laila. I colored my picture using all of the colorful crayons or my picture looked beautiful. Okay, so Laila, what do you think happened first? What happened first? I colored my picture using all of the colorful crayons, or did my picture look beautiful happen first?
I colored my picture.
Okay, I colored my picture using all of the colorful crayons. Let's check the answer. Very good, Laila. So you got the answer correct. Okay. Who else is here? Let me ask Auni. Auni is here. Auni, can you pick a number, Auni?
9.
9. Okay, I'll pick on number 9. Okay, read the sentence. Whoa, Auni. Okay, Auni picked a good number. She won 1 point. Okay, very good, Auni. Okay, pick another number, Auni. Pick another number.
7.
7. Okay, I'll pick on 7. Okay, read the sentence.
Mom cooked dinner or we all ate the yummy dinner.
Okay, mom cooked dinner or we all ate the yummy dinner. Okay, Ani, what do you think happened first? Did mom cook dinner first or did we all ate the yummy dinner first?
Mom cooked dinner.
Okay, mom cooked dinner. Let's see. Let's check the answer. Very good, Auni. The correct answer is we all ate the yummy dinner first. So that is what happened first. Okay, very good. So far everyone got the correct answer. Okay, let me ask for the next question. Alia. Alia is here. Okay, Alia, can you pick a number?
2.
Number 2. Okay, I pick number 2. Okay, Alia, read the sentence.
We set the table with with plates, napkins, and silverware, or we ate dinner.
Okay, we set the table with plates, napkins, and silverware, or we ate dinner. Very good, Alia. So, Alia, can you tell me what happened first?
We set the table with plates, napkins, and silverware.
Okay, so Alia said we set the table with plates, napkins, and silverware is what happened first. Let's check the answer. Very good, Alia. So what happened first was we set the table with plates, napkins, and silverware, and then we ate dinner. Very good, Alia. Okay, so you got that question correct. All right, let's ask another students to answer. Who else is here? Let me ask Humaira. Humaira, can you pick a number, Humaira?
Yes, teacher.
Pick a number.
5.
5. Okay. Number 5. Okay. Humaira, read the sentence.
We built a half snowman or our snowman melted.
We built, Humaira, we built a huge snowman, or our snowman melted. Melted cair. Okay, Humaira, can you tell me what happened first, Humaira? Did they build a huge snowman first, or did their snowman melted first? What do you think happened first, Humaira?
Our snowman melted.
Melted. Okay, so you think our snowman melted first? Okay, let's check the answer. So what happened first is they built a huge snowman first, Humaira, and then their snowman melted. Okay, Humaira? Okay, so unfortunately for this one, we got it. Okay, only one so far, it's okay. Let me ask who else is here. Let me ask, oh, Shaza is here. Shaza, can you pick a number, Shaza?
10.
10. Okay, let's go to number 10. Okay. Oh, Shaza won 5 points. Very good, Shaza. Okay. Pick another number. Pick another number, Shaza.
8.
8. Okay, number 8. You lost 1 point, Shaza. Okay, so you got 5 points and then you lost 5 points. It's okay. Another number, Shaza.
3.
3. Okay. Okay, here we have a sentence here. Shaza, can you read it? Read the sentence, Shaza. Shaza, your mic is not turned on. Can you read the sentence?
The floor was all slippery or water spilled on the floor.
Okay, very good. The floor was all slippery, or water spilled on the floor. Okay, so Shaza, what do you think happened first? Did you think the floor was all slippery first, or did the water spill on the floor first? What do you think happened first?
Water spilled on the floor.
Water spilled on the floor. Okay, let's check if that is the correct answer. Water spilled on the floor. Very good, Shaza. So we got that one correct. Okay. I think that is enough for our first activity today. So far, we've got most of them correct. We have 23 points. Very good, everyone. But we have to move on to the next activity. All right. So I want you to open your textbook. Open your textbook to page 149. Open your textbook to page 149. Okay. So for today, we are going to learn about. Hold on, let me share my PowerPoint. Okay, for today, we are going to learn about plot structure. If you open to your textbook to page 149, we are going to learn about plot structure unit 15. All right. So open your textbook to page 149. Hold on, my PowerPoint is lagging. All right. So make sure you open your textbook to page 149. Today we will be learning about plot structure. Okay, so before we start the class, I want to tell you about our learning objective for the day. So what you will learn in this class. Okay, so in today's class, I want you all to complete the plot structure based on the story. So you will have to write sentences. Next, I want you to sequence events in order into a plot diagram. So not only will we learn about plot structure, we will also learn about arranging events into a plot diagram, which we will learn in today's class. All right. So we have two activities for the day. The first activity, we will learn the structure of a plot. We will read text from fairy tales, and I want everyone to sequence events in order into a plot diagram. And the second activity will be I want you all to watch the wonderful Wizard of Oz. So remember, this past few weeks we have learned the graphic novel about the wonderful Wizard of Oz. But today I will show you a YouTube video and you will have to write sentences to complete the plot structure based on the story and the video shown. Okay? So first activity, we will be learning plot structure. What is a plot structure? So before we start, I want to tell you about the elements of the story. So every story, if you've noticed, they have a lot of elements. The main elements are, the first one is the setting, which is the location of the story. So when you watch the movie Iron Man, it's mostly located at Iron Man's house. And then the second element in a story, we have a conflict, which is the main problem of the story. So every story has a problem. Okay, it's okay, Laila. You just focus on my slides, okay? So the second element, we have conflict. So every story has a problem, kan? To make it interesting, you have a problem, a conflict for the characters in the story. Next, we have the characters. So in a story, you have the protagonist and the antagonist. So you have the bad guys and you have the good guys. So every story has good guys and bad guys. And the fourth element, we have a point of view. In a story, the story is told in someone's point of view. So either when you watch Spider-Man, the story is told from Spider-Man's point of view. When you watch uh when you watch a cartoon like Tom and Jerry, the story is told from their point of view. So today we will learn about the most important element of a story, which is the plot. A plot is one of the main element of a story. So we'll talk about the definition of a plot. Can I have someone to read me the definition? Let me ask, who is here? Let me ask Rafiq. Rafiq, can you read me the definition of a plot here? Is Rafiq here? Rafiq, read the definition for plot. Rafiq, turn your mic on and can you read the definition for plot here?
Organized pattern or sequence of events that make up a story. Describe the structure of a story. It shows a arrangement of events and action within a story.
Okay, thank you, Rafiq. So that is the definition of a plot. Rafiq said it is the organized pattern or sequence of events that make up a story. So in a plot, it is made up of events, sequence of events. So it tells you what happened first, what happens in the middle, and what happens in the end. That is what a plot is made out of. It also describes the structure. It shows the events and actions within a story. So you can tell you from the plot, you know the events and the actions from the story. All right. Okay. So in a plot, the structure of a plot, you have five main elements for a plot. You have the exposition, the rising action, the climax, the falling action, and the resolution. So you have to remember only five of these. Exposition, which is the introduction. In the exposition, the introduction of the characters, the setting, and the conflict. So from the introduction, from the exposition, you will be able to find out who are the characters, where does this story take place, and what are the conflict of the story for the exposition. For the rising action, it is the events that occur as a result of central conflict. So the rising action, because of the problem, there are events that occur. Next, we have the climax. The climax is that the highest point of the story, where it tells you the suspense. Okay, Laila. So the climax, you have the suspense of a story. And then you have the falling action. The falling action where the main character begins to resolve the conflict. So the problem in the story will be resolved during the falling action stage. Next, we have the resolution, which is the last part of the story. The resolution, the conflict is solved, and the story is ending. So to help you remember the structures of this plot, I will give you diagrams. So this is one example of a plot diagram. You have a roller coaster. So I'm sure some of you have rode a roller coaster before, right? So when you start at the roller coaster on a roller coaster, you start at the bottom, and then you get to the middle, and then you get to the top, and then you're going to come down again. So when you start at the middle, Laila too scared. It's very fun. You never know. So at the start, you have the exposition. When you ride a roller coaster, remember this. At the start, exposition. When you're at the middle, rising action. And when you are at the top, when you are at the top, the highest of the roller coaster, it is called the climax. The highest, the suspense. So you know you are going to fall down, but that happens at the top, climax. And then when you start to fall down, wear seatbelts, Layla. Yeah, you want that. At the middle, when you got starting to fall down, it is called the falling action. It's when the problem will start to get solved. And then the last one, when you are safe and sound, the roller coaster is ending, it is called the resolution. So remember when you ride a roller coaster, remember exposition, rising action, climax, falling action, and resolution. Only five. You only have to remember five. Okay, Layla. So only five, very easy to remember. This one you can also remember a plot diagram in the image in an image of hiking a mountain. So I'm sure in Perak you have many mountains, right? So when you are trying to hike one of them, when you are going on hiking, okay, when you are going hiking, you can remember these five parts, five stages of a plot. You have the exposition, where you start at the bottom of the mountain or the bottom of the hill. And then when you started to go up, and there's a steep hill, that's when you are getting tired, and that's when the problem starts. It's called the rising action. And when you are at the top, it is called the climax. So when you are hiking a mountain, when you are at the top of the mountain, you can see the view, you can see the sun, you can see the clouds. That is the climax, the highest point of the story. So when you are trying to hike a mountain, remember why you are trying, because you want to get to the top, right? So that is the climax. Next, when you are going down the mountain, you have the falling action. That's when your conflict are resolved, when your problems are solved. And lastly, when you are finished hiking, you're drinking water, you eating KFC, and that is the resolution when you are at the bottom of the mountain. So I have two diagrams where you can use to remember a plot diagram. You have a roller coaster, or you have a picture of a person hiking a mountain. So it makes it very easy for you to remember. Okay, so we have to put it all together. So when in a plot diagram, the first part is the beginning of a story. So the beginning of a story, it is the exposition and rising action. That is the beginning of the story, the exposition and rising action. For the middle of the story, you have the climax. In the middle of the story, you have the climax. So what happens in the middle of the story? Climax. And lastly, you have the end of a story. The end of the story consists of the falling action and resolution. So when you watch a story, when you are at the exposition or the rising action, you are at the beginning of the story. When you are at the highest point of the story, the root of the story, it is called the climax, which is the middle of the story. And you know you are at the end of the story when the problems are solved and when the characters are in peace. That is called the falling action and resolution. Okay. So when we after we put it all together, I want to do this activity. I want you to do this activity, which is called sequencing events in order, which is what it means is you have to put all events in order. So like in the first activity where we learn about what happens first, so you will have to apply your skills in this activity too. Okay, anyone have any guess what this story is called? Do you know what this story is called? It's a very famous fairy tale. Does anybody know? Who is Faiz. I'm sure you know this story, right? Can you tell me what you think the title of this story is, Faiz? Is it The Three Little Pigs? Is it Bawang Putih Bawang Merah? What do you think this story is called, Faiz? I'm sure everyone knows what this story is called. If you know the answer but you are too shy, you can write in the comment section. I don't mind. Who is Brofist? Brofist?
I think I know, teacher.
Okay, Alia, what do you think this story is called, Alia?
Cinderella.
Cinderella. Very good. This story is called Cinderella. If you don't know the title of this story, I am very worried for you. So this story is called Cinderella. I'm sure Faiz watch this Cinderella every night, right? So you must know the title. Okay, so Cinderella. Here I have sentences, 5 sentences, which are the exposition, rising action, climax, falling action, and resolution. So for this one, can I have Danish? Danish, can you read the sentences here, the 5 sentences, Danish? Wait, hold on, Danish is not here. Oh, maybe he lost his connection. Okay. Uh, oh, Danish has joined. Danish, can you hear me, Danish? Okay, let's give others a try. Let's ask who wants to read. Let me ask. Auni, can you read the 5 sentences here, Auni?
What, teacher?
Read the 5 sentences here. Read all the sentences in this slide.
She danced with the prince, but leaves hurriedly, hurriedly,
Readly.
hurriedly at midnight. Cinderella lives with her stepmother and stepsisters. Cinderella and the prince get married. The stepsisters try to force their feet into the slipper, but it fits Cinderella. They live happily ever after.
Okay, thank you, Ami. So those are the 5 sentences I've asked Ami to read. So you have she dances with the prince but leaves early at midnight. Cinderella lives with her stepmother and stepsisters. Cinderella and the prince get married. The stepsisters try to force their feet into the slipper, but it fits Cinderella. And lastly, they live happily ever after. So I've given you here 5 sentences. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I've given you 5 sentences which has to be categorized into a plot diagram. So underneath there, you can see the plot diagram. You can see there's the exposition, there's the rising action, the climax, falling action, and the resolution. So for the first one, I will help you. I will show you how to do the first one for Cinderella, but for after the next fairy tale, I want you to help me solve it, to categorize them, to sequence them into this plot diagram. Okay, so let me show you. The first one, the exposition. The sentence for exposition is this one. Cinderella lives with her stepmother and stepsisters. So what happens? Firstly, what happened in the beginning? What happens first? Second, for the rising action, is this sentence. She dances with the prince, but leaves hurriedly at midnight. So that is the rising action. That is the rising action, the sentence for rising action. Next, we have the climax. The climax for Cinderella is this sentence. The stepsisters try to force their feet into the slipper, but it fits Cinderella. That is the climax of the story. Remember when the prince came to their home, came to the village, and asked all the girls to wear the slippers. Next, we have the falling action. So when the conflict gets solved, it is for this sentence. Cinderella and the prince get married. So after Cinderella wore the slippers, the prince problem is solved. So they get married. And lastly, for the resolution, the end of the story, they live happily ever after. So that is what I want you to do for today. I want you to sequence these sentences into order, into what happened first, what happens for the rising action, what happens for the climax, what happens for the falling action, and what happens at the resolution. Okay, That is what I want you to do for today. Okay, so Alia and Naomi guessed the first picture was Cinderella. Does anybody know what the title of this story is?
Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs.
Very good, Auni. Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. So this story is called Snow White. I forgot to write the seven dwarfs. Okay, so this story is called Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, but I think most people call it Snow White. Okay, very good, Auni. Okay, so let me ask. I want to ask someone to read me the sentences. Can I have Danish is here. Danish, can you read the sentences for Snow White here?
They lived happily ever after. Snow White ran to the forest and meet the seven dwarfs. Snow White lived with the wicked queen who wanted her dead. The wicked queen came and gave Snow White a poisoned apple, causing her to fall into a sleep. The prince gave her a kiss which woke her up.
Okay, very good, Danish. So these are the 5 sentences for Snow White, the story of Snow White. So what I want you to do is put these sentences in order, in sequence these sentences from which event happened in the exposition, which event happened in the rising action, which event happened during the climax, and which event happened falling action and resolution. Okay, so for the first one, firstly, what happens at the beginning of the story? Who can tell me what happened first? Yes, what do you think happened first? Rafiq, you want to tell me what happened at the exposition? Rafiq, do you want to tell me? Okay, let's Danish, can you tell me the first sentence? What happens first? What happens in the exposition stage, Danish?
Snow White lived with the wicked queen who wanted her dead.
Snow White lived with the wicked queen who wanted her dead. Okay, this is the first one. Okay, can you tell me the rising action? What happens after?
Snow White ran to the forest and met the seven dwarfs.
Snow White ran to the forest and meet the seven dwarfs. Okay, that is the rising action. Now, can you tell me the climax? What happens in the middle of the story?
The wicked queen came and gave Snow White a poisoned apple,
Okay, the wicked queen
causing her
came
to
and gave.
fall into a sleep.
Okay, very good. The wicked queen came and gave Snow White a poisoned apple, causing her to fall into a sleep. That is the climax. Now, can you tell me the falling action?
The prince gave her a kiss which woke her up.
Okay, the prince gave her a kiss, which woke her up. And lastly, the resolution.
They lived happily ever after.
Very good. They live happily ever after. Very good, Danish. Okay. Okay, so you have sequenced these events into order. Where let's see if you got all of them correct. Okay, so what happened first? The first sentence is Snow White lived with the wicked queen who wanted her dead. Very good. That is the exposition. Next, Snow White ran to the forest and met the seven dwarfs. That is what happened next. The wicked queen came and gave Snow White a poisoned apple, causing her to fall into a sleep. That is the climax. of the story. Next, we have the fourth sentence, which is the following action. The prince gave her a kiss which woke her up. And lastly, the resolution, they live happily ever after. Very good, Danish. You got all of the sentences correct. You have put them in sequence in order for the story Snow White. Very good. Okay, let's move on to the next story. Next story we have, what do you think this story is called? Who knows the title? What is the title of this story?
Hansel and
Hansel and
Gretel.
Gretel.
Very good. Hansel and Gretel. Okay. I have these sentences here. For these sentences, can I have Faiz? Faiz, can you read the sentences here, the 5
Yes.
sentences?
Hansel and Gretel found a candy house owned by a witch. The witch helped them captive and planned to eat the children. They returned home and lived happily ever after. Hansel and Gretel are children of a poor woodcutter who decided live then in the woods. Gretel outwits the witch and push her into the oven.
Okay, very good, Faiz. So you have read all the 5 sentences. So we have to put them in order. So Faiz, can you tell me what happened first? What happened first in the Hansel and Gretel story? So what happened first is the exposition. Okay, so I'll read first. Hansel and Gretel found a candy house owned by a witch. The witch held them captive and planned to eat the children. They returned home and lived happily ever after. Hansel and Gretel are children of a poor woodcutter who decides to leave them in the woods. And lastly, Gretel outwits the witch and pushes her into the oven. Okay, Faiz, can you tell me what happened first at the beginning of the story? Which sentence is the exposition? Others, if you know the answer, you can also write in the comment section. But for this one, I want Faiz. Can you tell me what the first sentence is for this story? The first sentence. Does anybody want to help Faiz? Okay, Rafiq raised his hand. Okay, Rafiq, can you tell me the first sentence? What happens in the beginning of the story?
Hansel and Gretel are children of a poor woodcut who decide live in the wood.
Okay, so Rafiq said the first sentence is Hansel and Gretel are children of a poor woodcutter who decides to leave them in the woods. Okay, very good. That is the first sentence for the story. Okay, what about the second? The second sentence.
Hansel and Gretel found a candy house owned by a witch.
Owned by a witch. The candy house is owned by a witch. Very good, Rafiq. That is the second. That is the second sentence for the story, which is the rising action. So rising action, you can tell the start of the problem. So for the problem, Hansel and Gretel was kicked out of their house, left in the wood, and they found a candy house owned by a witch, like Rafiq said. Very good, Rafiq. So hold on, let me connect my internet. Okay. So for the first one, you have the exposition, which is the hold on, yeah, my internet problem is lost. Okay, so we have the first one, the exposition, where it's the beginning of the story. The beginning of the story, which Rafiq has said, Hansel and Gretel is the children of a poor woodcutter. Oh, can you see my screen now, everyone? Can everyone see my screen?
No.
No? Okay, hold on,
No.
everyone. Sorry for the delay. Let me see. Okay, hold on. Let me see what is the problem with my internet. Okay. Okay, so Rafiq has said exposition, which is the first part of the story, where you know who are the characters, you know the problems, and you know the setting. Remember, we learned about Hansel and Gretel. The exposition is the characters are Hansel and Gretel, the witch, and okay. So Rafiq has said the exposition is Hansel and Gretel are the children of a poor woodcutter who decides to leave them in the woods. Okay, for the rising action, Rafiq has said the Hansel and Gretel found a candy house owned by a witch. Okay, Rafiq, can you tell me the third sentence? The climax of the story. Do you know which sentence is the climax of the story? Faiz, okay, Faiz, can you tell me which sentence is the climax?
The witch held them captive and planned to eat the children.
Okay, very good, Faiz. The witch held them captive and planned to eat the children. That is the climax, the problem of the story. Okay, can you tell me the following action? Which sentence is the following action, Faiz?
Gretel outwitched the witch and pushed her into the oven.
Very good. So the following action, Gretel outwits the witch and push her into the oven. Last one, resolution.
They returned home and lived happily ever after.
They return home and live happily ever after. Very good, Faiz. So the first sentence of the story, Hansel and Gretel are children of a poor woodcutter who decides to leave them in the woods. So at the start, you know who are the characters, the problems, and the setting. Next, the rising action. The rising action, Hansel and Gretel found a candy house. So because of the problem, the rising action happens, which is Hansel and Gretel found a candy house when they were left in the woods. Next, you have the witch held them captive. This is the problem of the story, the main conflict where the witch held Hansel and Gretel in captive. Next, you have Gretel outwits the witch and push her into the oven, which is the falling action. So the falling action is where the problem gets solved. So you know the conflict is resolved in the falling action. And lastly, resolution is at the end of the story. They return home and live happily ever after. Very good, Faiz and Rafiq. Okay, last one. Who knows the title of this story?
The Wizard of
Yes, Oni?
The Wizard of Oz.
The Wizard of Oz. So remember the graphic novels and the worksheet I've given you before in last week and last week. We learned about this story, the Wonderful Wizard of Oz. Very good, Auni. So I have the sentences here. Who wants to read the sentences? Can I ask? Adam is here. Adam. Adam, can you read all these 5 sentences here, Adam?
Yes. When a tornado ripped Kansas, Dorothy and Toto are whisked away into the magical land of Ozzy.
Oh, Adam. You gave me the answer. Okay, Adam, can you read first? Read everything first.
Okay. The wizard Ozzy grant them all of their wishes.
Oz.
Oz.
Yes. Okay, read the others.
Dorothy and Toto return. Dorothy made the lion's scarecrow, Tin Man, and together they went on a journey to find Oz.
Okay, read the others. Read first, Adam. Don't give me the answer yet. Just read all of them first. Read all the sentences.
Okay.
Read the second sentence. Okay, if you notice, Adam has given us the answers without me asking because he is too smart for me. Okay, so exposition, Adam. The first sentence you said is when a tornado hits, right? Okay, rising action. Adam already gave us the second sentence, which is the Dorothy. Okay, Adam, can you tell me the second? Oh, Adam. Okay, hold. Adam lost his internet connection. Right, so let me ask others. Okay, since Adam lost his internet. Okay, Adam. Adam, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Can you tell me the second sentence, the rising action for this story? Okay, let me just read real quick. So the first one, Dorothy met the lion, scarecrow, Tin Man, and together they went on a journey to find Oz. Dorothy melts the witch and stole her broomstick. Dorothy and Toto return home and live happily ever after. When a tornado rips through Kansas, Dorothy and Toto are whisked away into the magical land of Oz. And lastly, the Wizard Oz grants them all of their wishes. Those are the sentences for this story. So I want you to put them in sequence in order of the events that occurred first. Okay, so Adam has given us the first sentence, the exposition. When a tornado ripped through Kansas, Dorothy and Toto are whisked away. That is the exposition of the story, the beginning of the story. Next, we have the rising action. The rising action is the cause of the problem. What happens after? Who wants to tell me which sentence is the second part of the story? Humaira, can you tell me which one is the rising action, Humaira? It's okay if you get it wrong. If you know the answer, you can also raise your hand up so you can help your friends. Who knows which sentence is the second one? Which sentence is the rising action? How about Daniel? Is Daniel here?
Yes.
Okay, Daniel, can you tell me which sentence is the rising action? What happens after Dorothy and Toto came into the magical land of Oz? What happened next?
Dorothy met the lion, scarecrow, Tin Man, and together they went on a journey to find Oz.
Very good, Daniel. So the rising action, Dorothy met the lion, Scarecrow, Tin Man, and together they went on a journey to find Oz. Okay, how about the climax, Daniel? Which sentence is the climax of the story?
The wizard Oz grant them all of their wishes.
Okay, the Wizard Oz grants them all of their wishes. Very good. Next, following action.
Dorothy met the witch and stole her broomstick.
Dorothy melts the witch and stole her broomstick. And lastly, the result. Oh, hold on. Actually, Daniel, you mixed up climax and following action. What happens first? The climax. The climax should be this one, and the following action should be this one. Remember, the climax is the problem, the suspense of the story. Following action, where all their problems get solved. So when their problems get solved, it should be the Wizard Oz grants them all of their wishes. So that is where their problems all get solved. Okay, Daniel? Okay, how about the resolution?
Dorothy and Toto return home and live happily ever after.
Okay, very good. So apart from the climax and following action, Daniel has done a very good job in putting the events in sequence. Okay, so first, what happened first is when a tornado rips through Kansas, Dorothy and Toto are whisked away into the magical land of Oz. Next, Dorothy met the lion, Scarecrow, Tin Man, and together they went on a journey. Dorothy melts the witch and stole her broomstick. The Wizard Oz grants them all their wishes. And lastly, Dorothy and Toto return home and live happily ever after. So those are the sequence of the story, The Wonderful Wizard of Oz. Okay, so now we'll move on to the next activity, which is to complete the plot structure. So to complete the plot structure, I want you to watch this video first. I want everyone to watch this video about the story, The Wonderful Wizard of Oz. Okay, let me show you the video. Okay, everyone watch this video.
Once upon a time, there was a girl named Dorothy who lived happily with her aunt and uncle in Kansas. She had a dog called Toto, and he was her best friend. Together, they would play for hours on end. One night, the sky filled with dark storm clouds. The lightning flashed, and the thunder clapped loud. Suddenly, a strong wind pulled the house from the ground. It soared through the sky, spinning round and round. It finally landed when the storm was gone, and the rain and wind stopped when it was almost dawn. When the sun came out again, Dorothy went outside, and as she looked around, her eyes opened wide. Everything was different, not like before. She said, "I've a feeling we're not at home anymore." There were bushes and flowers of pink, purple, and red, and a gentle fairy with a wand appeared over her head. "Kind fairy, where are we?" Dorothy asked without fright. "In Oz, my child," said the fairy, her voice musical and bright. "How will we get home? I don't want my aunt to worry," Dorothy said, and the fairy replied in a hurry, "Go see the wonderful Wizard of Oz. Take these magical shoes. Just follow the yellow brick road, but quickly, there's no time to lose." So Dorothy and Toto did as she said. Down the yellow brick road they started to head. As they walked, they met a scarecrow made of hay. They said, "Nice to meet you. How are you today?" "I'm sad," said the scarecrow, "and the cause of my pain is that my head is empty. How I wish for a brain." Come with us to see the wizard, Dorothy said. He can do anything. He'll put a brain in your head. So the Scarecrow joined them, and they went off very glad when they met a Tin Man, looking tired and sad. It's a pleasure to meet you, he said, giving Dorothy a start. What a pleasure from the bottom of my... Wait, I don't have a heart. Come with us, said Dorothy, for the wizard knows best. He'll surely have a heart to put in your chest. Down the yellow brick road all four walked. They picked flowers, sang songs, told jokes, and talked. They were suddenly startled by a lion coming near. I mean you no harm, the lion stuttered in fear. I wish I had courage to be the king of the wood, but I'm just a coward. This lion's no good. Come with us, they said, to the wizard, you'll see. He'll give you courage. You'll be as brave as can be. They finally reached the kind wizard's gate, but the Witch of the West was lying in wait. Please let us in, little Dorothy said. We need a heart and some courage and a brain for his head. The Wicked Witch said, No! Off with you! Go away! The wizard's too busy to see you today. The five tired friends waited there a long while when Dorothy had an idea, and she said with a smile, Does anyone have water? It makes witches melt. The Tin Man said, Of course, and pulled a bottle from his belt. Dorothy sprayed on the witch. She sprayed on and on. The witch shrank and shrank till she was finally gone. In the wizard's castle, it felt like magic everywhere. A voice boomed through their ears, and smoke filled the air. They could see a huge curtain, but they couldn't see behind. It suddenly came down. And what did they find? The smoke cleared, and they all gasped with surprise. A man, not a wizard, appeared before their eyes. I wish you were a real wizard, said the Tin Man. You could give me a heart like a real wizard can. You've always had one, said the wizard, right from the start. Take this watch. It ticks with a beat of your heart. Scarecrow, you've got a brain so sharp and clever, you can do anything. Don't doubt yourself ever. And here's a medal for you, brave lion, he said. You've always been courageous. It's all in your head. Thank you, dear wizard, they all said as one. You've helped us all, though no magic was done. You're welcome, said the wizard, and waved his hand. But there's still one little girl whose wish I must grant. Now, Dorothy, click your heels 3 times and say, There's no place like home, and you'll be there right away. Dorothy said goodbye to them all. She shook the hand of the lion, who stood brave and tall. She hugged the Tin Man, who shed a small tear, and kissed the Scarecrow, who smiled from ear to ear. Dorothy said what the wizard told her to say, and clicked the heels of her shoes 3 times right away. Just like magic, Dorothy and Toto were back, both safe and sound, as if the house had never moved, had never left the ground. What she learned that day, she would remember indeed. When you believe in yourself, you have everything you need. She could travel anywhere, walk the world high and low, but there's no place like home, wherever you go.
Okay, so from that story, I want you to open the link I sent you in the chat box and in your Telegram group. I'll send you the
Florence,
link.
the birthplace of the Renaissance.
Okay, so I want you to open the link and answer the questions given there about the story. So write your name, write your password, in Wiser. Okay, so sign in as a student. Use your email or use your login in Wiser, and then I want you to answer the questions on there where you have to write sentences. You will have to write sentences to complete the plot diagram, the plot structure of each. So they will ask you the exposition, the rising action, the climax, the falling action, and the resolution. So I want you to write sentences for each of the stages. Hold on. Let me just show you the questions there. Okay, so the worksheet. Okay, so when you open the link that I sent you, this should be, yes, Adam? Okay, this should be what you can see when you open the link. Send you in Telegram and also in the chat box. So open the link and answer the question. I've also attached the video if you want to refer back to the video. You have the video, you have the diagram here. So this is the exposition. You have to write the sentences. You have to write a sentence for the exposition. I've given you word prompts to help you write sentences. So for this one, I'll show you an example. Dorothy and Toto live in Kansas with Uncle Henry and Aunt Em. So that is what you can write for the exposition. So I have the exposition, the rising action, the climax, the falling action, and the resolution. So you will have to write sentences based on the word prompts given. Okay. So before we end the class, can everyone open your cameras? Open your cameras so I can take a picture. So remember, this is our last Monday together. Okay, so I can take a picture. Wow, Faiz is wearing a mask. Okay. I see Auni. How about the others? Azim, Humaira, Alia, Rafiq, Shaza, Adam, Laila, and Brofis. Who is Brofis? Okay, open your cameras. Okay, ready everyone? Okay, I'll take the picture now. 1, 2, 3, smile. Okay, I can't see if Faiz is smiling or not, but thank you others. Remember to complete your work on the link I give you. And that is all for today. Assalamualaikum and goodbye everyone.
Bye, teacher. Waalaikumsalam.
Thank you,
Bye,
teacher.
Faiz.
Thank you,
Welcome,
teacher.
Auni. Welcome, Faiz.
Thank you.